And when I travel, I don't know why this is important to me, but it's important to me that people think I'm from the place that I'm at. And I think that's just a social anxiety thing. I just want to fit in. Like when I'm in Florida, I'm like, I want people to think I live here, you know? And I don't know if I'm pulling it off. Probably not. Like that. Someone very sweetly, no. Did you? What do I need to do? Do I need like a long sleeve Salt Life shirt? Like what do I need? Would that make me look? What's that?
A little more broken.
A little more broken. All right. I feel like you guys hide your sadness with tans. I've noticed that. Like, you look at a group of Floridians and you're like, those are the happiest people I've ever met. But if you sit down and talk to one for a few minutes, you're like, it'll get better. It'll be all right, dude. I feel like some of these jokes are cutting too deep. That one I made up on the spot, but the everyone's divorced looking like it worked out good. That one, I still remember how some of you felt about that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Wow. It's starting to feel like a rally right there. I feel like this is where a rally would start, at the end of a strip mall behind a Chili's. You know, like that's... That'll be in the documentary. How did he become the mayor of Tampa? Well, we met at a small meeting in the back of a strip mall next to a pond where there's a bunch of stray cats running around, and this is where it goes down. That's why I like Florida, man. It's just no one should live here, and you guys have forced yourselves in here against Mother Nature and gators and weather. And you're like, no, I'm playing golf here. None of it makes any sense. Jungle. It's jungle. I drove around. It's clearly jungle. And then you're like strip mall. And then more jungle. And then you're like houses with a gate in front for some reason. And then more jungle. There's so much jungle. I love it. It's so scary. Especially at night. Yeah, there's something about Florida at night where you're like, where was that guy the whole day? There's like a different group of people that come out when the sun goes down, and you're like, is he part of the community? And he is part of the community. This is the only place I've been to where bikes are sketchy. Like, you see someone on a bike, you're like, I don't trust that. I don't trust that at all. Tampa was the first place I saw this. The last time I was here, I was leaving at like midnight or something. I pulled out, and then there's just a guy who rode out of the woods on a bike. And he didn't like come out and then get on. He was coming out at like a good speed. And I'm like, from the bushes? How'd you get that good speed coming out of the bushes? And they have a backpack, and you're like, what's in that backpack? You don't know, but you also kind of know, right? Evidence. That's what's in there. There is evidence in that backpack. I like coming to Florida, man. The humidity's fun. I like it. It's like, imagine if it was hot, but you can't cool down. Imagine that. Imagine if you take off your sweaty clothes and they just always stay kind of damp. I did that yesterday. I did a workout with a hat on, and then I left it in the room, and I'm like, that's probably dried. And then today I put it back, and I'm like, oh, that's gross. It just holds in your memories from yesterday. That's so not motivating. I was trying to work out, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I worked out yesterday. I can let that dry. Yeah, the humidity. I know you guys are used to it, but like, if you don't grow up in the humidity, you're just like, oh, it just reminds you of things. Like it does. Like the Florida humidity reminds me of like a hug from like a family member you don't love. You know when you were a kid and then like a long lost aunt or uncle would come over and they're like, I'm your father's sister or something. And you're like, I don't know you. And they're like, get in here. Nom, 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 nom. And you're like, I hate every part of this. I can't breathe. It's wet and warm at the same time. And then they let you go and you're just like, I never want to experience that again. But I like it out here. It's fun. It's kind of like a little I don't know, like all the different parts of Florida. We talked about Jacksonville. That's where I was 2 weeks ago. And Jacksonville feels, I understand there's some sort of beef. I don't know what the beef is. But listen, every part of Florida has its own thing. Like Tampa, to me, it always feels like everyone's like profited from their divorce. Like the people clapping are the ones that profited. Everyone else is like, oh, how dare you bring that up? There's just like, you see combos of couples where you're like, oh, that wasn't the original couple right there. That was a couple that met on a cruise, and the settlement's coming through. I like the response on that. I didn't know that was going to divide this room so bad. And I'm in the perfect spot because I'm right in the like that. And then there was like a section that was like right, and then everyone else was like, "How dare you? We don't bring up Robert." You know. Sorry, is that specific to somebody? Sorry, are you Robert? That one really got him. That was a Freudian laugh. Is what that was. That was oh yeah. But yeah, everyone seems to be doing well here, so that's good. Jacksonville was a little iffy. Some people were doing well. Some people were like, but we're taking something. It was just, I don't know. It's always fun to come out here. I fly all the time. I actually fly so much, sometimes I forget where I'm flying to. And that's pretty sketchy at the airport, you know, because it's like early morning, 5 in the morning, I'm checking a bag, and they're like, where are you headed to? And sometimes I'm like, ow. What's it say? You know? Because they have my ID. They can look up where I'm headed to. And then I've done that before. I'm like, I don't know, what's it say? And then they look back at me like, huh? And I'm like, they're like, are you being trafficked? Like, do you need... And I'm like, no, I mean, I'm trafficking myself. Well, I'm making it worse. I'm doing comedy there. And I had one of those moments. I forgot where I was headed to. I was actually boarding the flight, and I didn't know where I was headed. And then I looked in front of me, and there was a guy who had an igloo cooler, and that was his carry-on. Like with the wheels and the thing, and he just had it with the duct tape around it. And I saw that, and I'm like, oh yeah, Florida. I'm headed to Florida. I forgot. And he was in first class, too. He wasn't in the back. He was first row of first. He put his igloo cooler in the overhead. Oh, that's good. I'm sure he opened it up during the flight to get his headphones out or whatever he was keeping in there. Trafficking gator eggs or whatever he was doing. Who knows? That's what I like about it. Who knows what anyone's up to here, you know? That's what it was like in Jacksonville. Everyone I asked what they do, it was just kind of quiet. They're like, I've noticed that people in Florida don't really tell you what they do. You know, you can be like, what do you do? And they might tell you what they used to do. And like in Jacksonville, I was like, what do you do? It's just a dude in a tank top, front row. It looked like he just got off work. And I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I used to work in HVAC. And I was like, all right. What do you do now? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell if he got fired that day and he was just trying to blow off some steam. But there's like a sense of illegal about Florida. Where it's like, yeah, a little of this, a little of that. That's what we do. I got a boat, you know, they'll just say they have a boat. And I'm like, I have friends that have a boat. You still got to do something to make money. But yeah, I feel like everyone's like secretly bringing in like Caribbean rum. Like they're in a Hemingway novel or something. They're like, oh yeah, we'll go down. It's like Prohibition's over. Like, yeah, but not for this rum. I gotta get that. I gotta get the deep rum, man. It's funny here because everything can feel dangerous. Dunkin' Donuts felt sketchy. I went to a drive-thru. I didn't even go into the establishment. I was in the drive-thru, and then right when I got to the window, there's a little placard under the window, and it says, if you get charged a different amount than what the receipt says, notify management. And I'm like, I'm not getting involved in this. There has never been a single time I've made eye contact with a fast food person and I'm like, I want to meddle. I want to meddle into their life. No, I'll just, whatever you charge me, please let me leave. Please let me leave. For the love of God. Yeah, watch the news, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Liver King. This is on mainstream news. You could just click this on at a hotel, and there'll be like, the Liver King went to go kill Joe Rogan. And you're like, is someone making these up? Like, that sounds like a Mad Lib. We used to get, remember, like, you go to a Cracker Barrel, and you get a Mad Lib, and then you drive because the radio was boring, and you're like, give me 2 words that don't make sense. Liver King. And you're like, all right. Who's the modern day Barbara Walters? Joe Rogan. And then you write that down. And you're like, the Liver King went and killed Joe Rogan. It's insane. I don't know if you follow the Liver King. I watched the documentary on Netflix. He lied to people. He's this big steroided guy, and it's very obvious, but he never said that. He's like, I just ate raw liver and did push-ups, and if you want to be like me, I sell pills. And go ahead and buy that, and you can be just like me. And it turns out there's more than raw liver going on. And I don't know. I don't know if you guys watched that documentary. He was like, him and his whole family were on these supplements, and they all had the same red acne. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was this weird, all of them, the same. They're like, I've never felt better. And I'm like, what the hell is that? You ever meet someone like that they're on like some sort of strict diet? Like, I just straight blood. I drink blood. And I'm like, it shows. I've never looked better. You've never looked worse. I gotta be honest with you. I think you might need a little bit of everything. You're like, I only suck on bone marrow. That's what I do. That's how I've been getting by. How's that going for you? Well, I have less friends. And it's just so scary. But it is crazy. There was like so many disappointed Liver King fans in the documentary. Like, I can't believe he would lie. How does scams still work? Like, we've never had so many documentaries about scams. Every scam has a documentary times 10, and there's still people like, oh, he got me. Every time people are like, and then they cry, I gave them all my retirement, and then it went, and it's like, don't you watch documentaries? Give enough money that if he steals it, you're like, well, I won't kill him, but I'll be mad, you know? I don't know, man, because I get it. People you're supposed to invest, but I was raised poor. I was raised by a poor Hungarian lady that never invests. She was like, you hide, you put it in your bank, and you look at it. And then I go, then what? And then she goes, then you go to sleep. That's how you sleep. You go, oh. I remember, she's the reason I didn't invest. She is. And I think you're supposed to, and I kind of do. I invest enough money that it won't help me when I retire. But if it disappears, I won't cry in a documentary. I'm in this sweet spot of investing where it's worthless, but it's also painless. It's right in the middle, you know? It's like gambling in Vegas, but old Vegas. You know, it's 3 a.m. and you're playing $5 blackjack, and you're like, let's go, double down. And then your wife's like, are you crazy? Maybe I am. And then you lose, and you're like, what did I really lose, you know? But yeah, my mom, I was gonna, I don't know, she's that weird Eastern European wisdom. I was gonna like invest in something, and she's like, why would you invest in that? And I was like, oh, this rich guy said I would make a bunch of money at it. And she goes, why would a rich person want you to be rich? And I was like, I'm gonna hold on to my money. Thank you. That's fine. Are you eating a dessert? That looks so good. Is that a flan? I love it. This is a 4 o'clock show. I love it. I've never seen so many waters and popcorn. I'll have a flan. That's so good. That should come with tea. Like, I remember one time I did an early show. There's someone in the front row drinking tea. I was like, oh, this is like you're reading a novel next to a fire or something. And you're so watching the comedy of this guy, you know? I love a guy. I can see the sunlight like through the door. Comedy during the day is weird because because it feels like a dark, shady thing. You're like, you know. But the sun's out. It's like, God's watching. You know, like we can't. Why don't you go to sleep, God? Let us. I don't know if he sleeps, but I love the different laughs that are in this room. I just heard another new laugh over there. Nice little chuckle. Was it the idea of God sleeping? You know, just fluffing up a cloud. Does he flip the cloud when it gets hot? Sorry, it's like, this cloud got hot. And then we got a hot cloud. That's the lightning. That's so silly. What the hell am I talking about? This is too close of a show of when I woke up. Like, there's not enough. Like, that was an example of thoughts I have alone in my hotel room. And then I write it down and I go, don't say that out loud. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And here we are. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, yeah.